I'm pleased to say that Jacob Rees-Mogg, who has just left the doors of Number 10, has joined us here. Welcome to you. We last spoke exactly in this spot in 2019 when you were offered Leader of the House by Boris Johnson. Here you are again. What's your job?
Secretary of State for Business, Energy, Industrial Strategy, and it's very nice to see you again. I regularly see you broadcasting, so it's nice to see you in the flesh.
And how do you feel about that role?
It's a fundamentally important role that the energy crisis is absolutely at the forefront of the government's agenda. We have to help businesses and individuals, and a package will be brought forward shortly.
You have just been in to see Liz Truss. She has given you her priorities for you in the job as Business Secretary. Can you spell out what they are and how different is a Liz Truss government going to be from the one that we've just seen?
Well, it's obviously a Conservative government, so the underlying philosophy will be the same. But Liz Truss is a different personality from Boris Johnson, that Liz is very focused on policy answers and getting those up and running as soon as possible, and getting energy into the machinery of government so that decisions are made and acted upon quickly.
This sounds like handouts for all, help for all, for energy bills coming within days.
I'm not going to go into the details because those will be released in due course, but nobody fails to realise the size of the problem. It is an extraordinary problem. Any MP now knows what problems businesses are facing, and individuals have similarly been facing those problems.
But big changes ahead, big differences from the way that your predecessor did the job.
There is literally a lot of work to be done, and on that happy note, I'm actually going over to the department now.
I just wanted to ask you about Boris Johnson. You were a loyalist, you worked closely with him. He obviously came out today. You know, some suggested that his hint to a Roman soldier was that he might come back. Would you like to see him come back? How do you feel about his passing and the way he went out of office?
I thought Boris went out with characteristic dignity and aplomb, that he was upbeat, he was positive, and he teased us all by referring to Cincinnatus. Whether that was to check our knowledge of classical history or was an allusion to Cincinnatus being drawn back from the plough, I don't know. But Boris Johnson is a big figure, has been a very important figure in getting Brexit done and in our response particularly to Ukraine. I think enormously highly of him. I'm a huge admirer, but I don't think he'll be coming back.
OK, as long as he doesn't end up on some Pacific island somewhere at the, anyway, we won't.
Let's
really
hope
do
not.
Yeah, maybe a book's coming.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Oh, I hope lots of books from Boris. We all want that. Excellent. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much indeed. So off to the department he goes, the new business secretary there, also one of those tipped for that role. So it's going according to plan so far. But from what he said, you know, the seismic job now for people like him and indeed the new chancellor, I mean, it's enormous, isn't it?
I mean, even in his opening remarks as business secretary exclusively to us and Sky News, it's clear that two things are very clear. The first is that the group inside Number 10, including Jacob Rees-Mogg, who would traditionally be thought of as small state conservatives who don't favour intervention of the government in areas of business and the market, are planning something massive. And Jacob Rees-Mogg, you might have expected to be slightly uncomfortable about the idea that we're about to embark on an intervention within 48 hours that could cost upwards of £100 billion. We're getting towards the scale of how much we spend every year on the NHS. And he didn't blink, he didn't blanch. Instead, he defended it. He said that we understand the hardships facing not just households, but businesses as well. And I think that tells you something about just how well Liz Truss is being able to carry people traditionally on the right of the party to solutions that perhaps you would be surprised that they were considering. The second thing is I'm very struck by Jacob Rees-Mogg's rhetoric that lots of things are going to be different. He said there's a huge job of work to be done.